In this video, we are going to talk about basic OBS setup and operation. First, we will convert the computer to a capture machine. In your capture training folder, there is a PDF that walks you through this process. We will not cover hardware setup in this video, that may come in a later video. First, we will navigate to the C drive. From there, we will find the folder called Tools. Every laptop from Freeman will have the Tools folder. Next, go to the Capture folder. Then run the convert to capture.exe. Wait for the software to load, then type yes and press enter to continue the setup. Another window will pop up soon named Preferences. When it does, you want to hit OK. It'll ask you if you want to download the newer version. In the video, I accidentally hit yes, but you should hit no and just hit X to close and continue the setup. Now we're coming to the end of the installation. Two new windows will pop up, A and B. There is an install button on both. Make sure you hit the install button on both windows and then wait for the window to close, and then the installation of the Convert to Capture programs will be complete. Next, we are going to set up OBS. In the same capture folder as before, find the setup obs.exe. Double click and again type yes in the window and press enter. The install will begin. After the window closes, the install will be complete, and that is all the programs we need for a basic OBS setup. First thing we want to do when we open OBS is check our scenes. As you can see, there are none. So we are going to click Scene Collection, Stream Record OSML, and that will load the Freeman scenes. Click on the scene All Sources to set up our inputs. Right-click the camera and go to Properties, and in the drag-down window, select USB Capture. There will be two USB captures listed, one for camera and one for graphics. If you don't get it right the first time, just repeat the process and select the other USB capture. Now do the same for the graphics. Next, go to the Behringer's properties and select Microphone USB Audio Codec. And that's all we need to do to set up our inputs. Now that we have our inputs all set up, first thing we want to do is put it in studio mode. All you have to do that is click studio mode. This will give you a preview and a program window. The preview window allows you to preview your next scene before taking it live to your stream. Now let's talk about scenes. Now, Freeman scenes should all be like this. Sometimes you'll get on a show where they have their own special scenes. Most of them are pretty much the same. Let's start from the top, intro. Now normally you're given a branded slide from whatever show you're on. To put that branded slide in, you just right click on your intro images, go to properties, and select the file from there. But since we don't have anything to put there, we're just going to keep going down. The transition will be your logo slide, whatever branded slide they gave you, and it will also have the audio. As you can see, the intro slide has no room audio. When you hit transition, you'll be going into the transition, which means your audio from your room will be going through your stream. So this will allow, let's say somebody's walking up on stage and you don't catch it right away and they start talking in the mic. You'll at least get their audio before switching over to the camera. The camera's obvious. You got one big camera with your little background slide. Now this background slide will also be branded. You'll get the branded stuff when you get there, hopefully, if it's not already in place. Then the next one's just straight graphics. This is where, You have your graphics coming from your graphics operator, and then we have graphics and camera. Now, Freeman orders it like this because your graphics will be on your left-hand side and your camera will be on your right-hand side. This is probably going to be your most used scene. Camera and graphics switches it to the other side. That's if your background slide, if it covers your logo the other way, that's the only way you're going to use this one. Other than that, you're going to be in this one. Outro is the same as intro. It's probably going to be a branded logo slide, maybe some music playing. You can add music tracks through here as well. We'll get into that later with the more advanced operation. Technical difficulty slide. Sometimes they give you one, sometimes you don't. You can take the logo and kind of make one. I like to say sorry, we'll be back soon, or we'll return shortly is a good way to put it. Not we're having technical difficulties, because that makes us look bad. All sources you should never use during a show. This is what we used for setup earlier. And then assets is also for setup, but that's just a more advanced version of all sources. All sources should be all that you really need for operation. Now let's talk about audio. So right beside you, you'll have your little Behringer mixer. You'll have your gain knob and you'll have your volume knob. Those are the only two you should really worry about. You want to gain it up just enough to get a little bit of levels coming through, and then you want to adjust your audio knob from there. Now you want your levels in OBS to just be peaking in the red. Audio engineers aren't going to like this, but OBS likes it hot. So if your audio levels are just peaking to the red like this, it's going to sound great on your stream, trust me. Now the last thing we're going to talk about is actually streaming. To do this, first you're going to need a stream key and a stream URL. We're going to go to settings. When the setting windows pops up, we're going to go to stream. Now mine says YouTube, but for the sake of this video we're going to go to custom, which is what you're probably going to get from the client. The server should be a URL and the stream key should be random numbers and letters. Now you'll get this from either the production workbook or the client or whoever's your lead on site, or it'll already be programmed in there. Hopefully it'll already be programmed in there, but you definitely want to check it. You'll have to hit the show button because otherwise it's going to be a bunch of dots. And you just check your stream key to whatever it is, but if it's already pre-programmed in there and they tell you not to mess with it, don't mess with it. After that, it's really easy. All you have to do is hit start streaming. Now when you hit start streaming, it's going to start streaming to whatever stream key you put in, but you also want to hit your records at the same time. You want to start your records at the same time. That way, you know, you can even start the records early before you start the stream. That way, just in case something gets messed up, you have your records. Even if they tell you you don't have to record, you should record anyway, just in case. Now over here, we have the frames missed by rendering lag, which you shouldn't miss too many. This is just your computer when it's encoding the video. If it's a little slow, Freeman computers are slow, so it'll drop a frame or two. And then when you're streaming, they'll also have frames drop due to network. That's what you want to watch out for. If you start dropping a bunch of frames due to network, that means there might be something wrong with your connection and you need to contact somebody as soon as possible to get the problem fixed. You also have a little bar down here that you can't see because we're not live, but it'll be green, hopefully. If it's not green, if it's yellow or red, again, contact somebody because you probably have a bad connection. And that's it. When you're done streaming, hit stop stream, hit stop record, and that's end of the show, hopefully, and you're on to the next one. So if you have any more questions, just feel free to ask somebody. Somebody will always answer you. You might feel like, you know, you're a rookie, but you want to ask questions rather than have something mess up during the show and be blamed for it later.